Welcome to the Family Dynasty podcast, where legacy meets leadership. I'm your host, Matt Dewing, family guide, business advisor, and believer in generational purpose. Our aim is to inspire and equip you to lead your family so that together you will experience compounding wealth in all 7 capitals through the generations. Each week we uncover timeless wisdom, cultural dynamics, and practical tools to help you lead with vision, live with intentionality, and build a flourishing family that multiplies in impact. Let's get to work. The Dynasty starts now.
Thanks for joining our conversation today. What's coming back? Cultural trends shaping the next generation of family dynasty. You know, every generation likes to believe it's completely new, that it's breaking from the past, reinventing life from scratch. But if you look a little closer, right now, especially at young adults, you start to see something surprising. Not everything is moving forward. Some things are coming back. We're watching a quiet return to practices that not long ago felt outdated. Things like baking from scratch, gardening, knitting, working with your hands, learning skills not from institutions, but from people, even family members. What used to be dismissed as grandma hobbies are now being rediscovered as meaningful, grounding, even essential. At the same time, success itself is being redefined. Less about recognition, less about status, more about alignment, peace, and authenticity. And in the middle of all of this, something else is happening. Young adults are rethinking relationship to family. Some are returning to family businesses. Others are reconsidering how and when they step into marriage, home ownership, and parenting. And many are asking deeper questions about purpose, impact, and what their life is actually building toward. Even in a digital world, something brand new is now part of the legacy conversation. What will remain of us? What will our children and grandchildren find? What are we intentionally leaving behind? Because whether we realize it or not, we are all building something that outlives ourselves. And the question is, will it be accidental or intentional? Today's cultural trends aren't just trends. They are signals. Signals that there is still a deep hunger for meaning, for craftsmanship, for connection, for family, and for continuity. In other words, there's a hunger for dynasty. In today's episode, I'm joined by my daughters, Alaina and Elli, and we're not just talking about these trends from a distance. These girls are living them. From learning hands-on skills to thinking differently about success, to engaging family, work, and purpose in a way that reflects something older and maybe wiser. So this isn't just a conversation about culture, it's a conversation about what's worth giving our time and attention to now and carrying forward. Let's get into it. Welcome back to the Family Dynasty podcast, girls.
Good to be here.
Thank you.
Great to be with you. And Clover has joined us today.
She is. She's sleeping for now.
You just got her to sleep.
Yes.
We've had a bit of a mixed up day, getting started late, but here we are. And we're excited about this topic today. Just cultural trends. What are some of the cultural trends that we see today, especially among young people, that have an overlap with this reality of trying to create and sustain a family dynasty? So, where do you want to kick that off? Which one of these trends do we want to talk about, girls?
We could talk about the grandma hobbies.
Let's talk about the grandma hobbies. Yeah. Yeah, so the idea here is that young adults are taking up crocheting, knitting, baking, gardening, and other analog hobbies. They see them as grounding and creative. Whether someone has a grandma that has taught them these things or they're just learning about them firsthand and coming to them, I think that's what a lot of these things, a lot of these people are gravitating to, just discovering them. Not that someone in their family taught them these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
They can discover and learn them online, which I think is how often people do.
What kind of granny hobbies do you girls do? And did you learn them from the family or did you pick them up from online?
Well,
I have a story on that. When I was, I think, 13, we were on family vacation in Canada to a place we went every year. And I had a little accident where I cut off the end of my finger.
Yes, you did.
And broke my finger. And I was in a half arm cast and couldn't swim in the lake, which that vacation basically you spent your
That's what we did.
time in the lake.
On the boat in the lake.
So I was really bummed sitting there with my finger in a cast while everyone was having fun. Grandma took me to Walmart and bought me yarn and knitting needles. And she's like, since you can't swim, I'm going to teach you how to knit. So I knit a scarf while on vacation.
And is that something that stuck with you? I mean, you've continued to knit.
I don't knit as much. I crochet now more. I find that a little easier. But yeah.
Wow. Who taught you how to crochet?
I think I taught myself.
Really?
Yeah.
Because your mother crochets.
Yeah. Maybe she taught me the basic.
She may have.
Just the basic stitches, and I bought a book.
Your mother crochets, her mother. I remember your mom's grandma, Harvey, crocheted. And grandma, I think.
She does a little.
She did
a little
at
bit.
some point. She probably,
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
Yeah. And then not even grandma hobbies, but like grandpa hobbies. There was Uncle Chub wasn't our grandpa, but you know, that generation. He had goats and he had a spinning wheel, and I always thought it was the coolest thing. He lent me his spinning wheel for a winter and showed me how to use it, gave me a bag of wool, and I learned to spin my own wool and then bought my own spinning wheel, and I keep that up and crochet the wool. So that was an older generation taught me.
Since you were a young teenager, I think you picked that up.
Yeah.
And we had a spinning wheel in our house ever since. We have it right downstairs still. Must be your house. You don't want it in your house?
Yeah, Andrew's a little rough with it.
A little rough with it. So it's in our house, but it still gets used.
Yep.
Yeah, and you not grew your own alpacas, but you had a few alpacas.
I had a couple alpacas, some Angora goats, Angora rabbits.
So you did the whole from gathering the wool to spinning it to making it into items.
Yep.
That's very neat.
Yeah.
Okay, so those are some cool grandma hobbies, Alaina.
Yeah.
Probably you have more.
Oh yeah, I do lots like gardening and
Is jewelry making? You picked up jewelry. That was more of
that
an
was my
entrepreneur.
earliest one.
That was more like, what can I do to make money?
Yeah. I don't think anyone taught me. I picked that up on my own.
You did, and you were really young.
Yeah. I was like 8, 9, 10.
Yeah, and you still
Yard
make
sales.
jewelry,
I still
and you
do.
consign it at a couple places. And
Yeah, and it actually is a nice little income now.
little side income because you're getting better and better, and you still have to raise your prices. Your prices are still too low.
I know. Yeah.
What about you, Ellie?
I really like to crochet, and when I was probably like 8 years old, I think grandma taught me how to knit, and I only would like knit in a straight line, and it probably wasn't even that straight of a line, but I would knit a scarf or two, but I totally forgot how to do that. Probably maybe 3 or 4 years ago, I wanted to learn again, so I went online and refreshed myself in how to do that, and then that led me to also picking up crochet, which I really enjoy to do. I don't really do it for money. I just do it because it's relaxing for me.
Yeah. Why do you think young adults crave these slower hands-on activities, especially in this digital age?
Yeah, I was thinking like with the digital age, there's nothing tangible there. Like people get engrossed in like the scrolling and just being immersed in the internet, but there's no reward really from it. It leaves you feeling empty afterward and just seeking more. Where these hobbies maybe give you something tangible, like, I'm working towards making something.
Right.
So it gives some reward and seeing something you created.
Right. Yep. I agree. What do you think, El?
I was thinking of kind of like we were speaking about a few weeks ago, the pendulum, how these like quote unquote grandma hobbies. This is just a feeling I have. I feel that maybe there was a generation that kind of abandoned these types of hobbies. And I don't know if that was due to them seeming old fashioned or if it was due to a certain brand of feminism at the time. But I think that the pendulum may have swung in one direction where people may have seen these types of crafts as like too traditional maybe. And now, especially with all of the digital and social media and things being online, not even feeling real, I feel that the pendulum is swinging the other direction, where people are craving those some more traditional things and concrete things that they can do with their hands.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think so. And I'm thinking about the question, how do these relate to growing a family dynasty? And the one thought that comes to me is canning. Now, I don't know if people are taking up more canning these days. I haven't researched that. But certainly in times past, when canning was something you did for survival, now you do it because food is available so ubiquitously that people don't need to can. However, if you can, you're caring more for, where it's sourced, and you're doing that to take care of your own needs.
Yeah. And I think, there's definitely a rise in like homesteaders or preppers. And so they've kind of re-embraced the canning.
Well, the one thing with canning or any of these
preserving.
hobbies, it's a grandmother, the matriarch, or a mother doing activities with their children.
Exactly, yeah.
And recently we were canning. I know you spent a day, didn't you spend some time in the kitchen helping mom can?
Yeah. We had a day where Ellie, me, Grace, mom, full day.
All three of you.
Doing peaches. We all pitched together and froze corn.
Yeah.
I know Grace and mom have done a couple tomato things
Right.
together.
There was some of you were involved with different aspects, from peaches to tomatoes to corn freezing.
Yep, we're making plans for applesauce and.
But that kind of relating that happens in the kitchen when it's a most of the day activity.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of relationship going on. There's mentoring. There's that life on life. More things are caught than taught, and you're spending that time together.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do feel, because when it comes to me crocheting things, I'm not making any money off that. Maybe I'm making some things that my family can use, and that's cool and beneficial. But I do feel like one of the most important things is that relational aspect that we can have within the family.
Yes.
It's fun if Megan's home, we might just have a day where not a whole day, but like a time, an evening where we sit around and we crochet and make things and can just talk and chat. And I feel that.
Right, if you're doing that instead of watching a movie together.
Right, yeah.
Instead of just being glued to something that you're just passively bringing in.
Yeah.
Now you're relating at the same time you're doing something active.
Yeah, and it feels very, it just feels really good to be doing something with your hands while talking and relating. And I feel that that's something you can do between generations.
Right.
And also the teaching, like you said, older generations can teach younger generations. And just the relational aspect of it in and of itself, aside from the product, I think is really important.
Yeah.
I don't think we can talk about grandma hobbies without bringing up great grandma and her pies.
Yes.
Like, she made the best pies. Everyone loved her pies.
It's true. She was known for her pies.
Yeah. And Grace, our sister Grace, wasn't it for her 13th birthday, had a challenge of making so many pies. And she spent a day with great grandma and learned her ways of making pies. And everyone has her pie recipe that she's passed down. And it's amazing. But yeah.
Yeah, your sister Grace is named after your grandmother Grace, my grandmother Grace.
Yep.
And we did, for her rite of passage at 13, she had to bake 10 pies in one day by herself. We sent her to one of our vacation rentals that wasn't rented that day and said, you're going to be here for the day baking these pies, and then we're going to give all 10 of these away. I think we kept one to eat or something, but that was formative for her. And the big part of it was spending the day with great grandma and learning all of her recipes. Yeah, she'll always remember that.
Yeah. And now Grace makes great pies for different events.
Yeah.
This just reminded me, I was listening to the Relational Health podcast where Aunt Delphine was a guest.
Right. You weren't there for that one, were you?
No, I wasn't.
But you listened to it. Good.
Yeah, it was really good. And she had mentioned how something important, I think she had mentioned this, creating tradition in a family and how that's important for family relationships. And that's what this makes me think of, like the tradition passed down from great grandma of pie baking, and how something like that really ties together a family, I think, relationally.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think of I can't tell you how happy you made your mother yesterday. It was her birthday, and everyone was here except Megan, who was in college. But she FaceTimed, and we passed her all the way around the table. You could tell she was wishing she was here. But otherwise, every one of you kids was here with your spouse and the grandkids, and your mother could not have been happier. And to think each of you and Grace each brought a soup or a stew. And that's something, whether you got those, maybe those recipes weren't something you picked up from your mother, but your mom has been a great celebrator of things. And the fact that you guys returned that to her to come over and celebrate her, that was just so honoring and so beautiful. And that relational aspect of it, we cannot speak too highly of cultivating that, investing in that, making time for that.
Yeah.
These are great ways to do it. How about quiet success? Let's take this next topic. You see the younger generation being more comfortable with, let's just call it quiet success. Gen Z and millennials are downplaying public markers of success in favor of private satisfaction, balance, and authenticity.
I have a question about that. Is that referring to status symbols? Like they're shying away from having the status symbols as much?
That's right.
Okay, got it.
Right. I don't need the trophy home. I don't need the fast car. I don't need the famous job. I don't need the corner office. Those
Got
kind of
it.
things.
Right. That makes sense.
I don't know if that pertains to me. I still have my trophies from rabbit show days, and I like to brag on my successes, and so I don't know.
Okay.
I
Well-
like to.
And not trophies literally, right?
No, I still got my
My trophies are my
trophies.
rabbit.
Oh yeah, I've got them.
Yeah, I know.
My ribbons and
I know,
trophies.
but I don't think, I still look at you, Alaina, as someone who generally is very comfortable with a quiet, successful life. You've talked about in a former podcast, you came alive when you talked about, we are rich, we gathered vegetables from our garden, we're eating our grass-fed beef, and our meal is everything that we've grown and taken care of, right? That's quiet success, right? It's those kind of things that really fill your heart.
Yeah.
You're not out chasing,
Public life.
public acclaim. Yes, you're not out chasing a career that's going to be climbing a corporate ladder or becoming wealthy. You're satisfied as a homesteader, and that's one of the reasons Ian married you. He was also attracted, right? He's a classical violinist by training. He's a musician. He's from the city, and he was really
a
craving
gardener.
a simpler life.
Yeah.
So I think you and Ian are poster children, really, for. Are you millennial?
Yeah.
Just barely.
Yeah, we just discussed this last podcast,
We did,
but
and
just barely.
I just forgot. Okay.
Just on the cusp.
Right. Yeah. So, but how do you personally define success, each of you? What do you think, Elle?
I put thought into this because I feel that question is it's almost like a cliche because I feel it's asked so often.
Yes.
But
But there's so many ways people define it.
yeah, there is. I think what comes to mind for me is, in general, having a positive impact on the world and others, and really whatever building blocks you're given in your life, like wherever you start out, using those to make something good, true, and beautiful, I think.
That's great.
It's
You're
almost
talking
like-
about stewardship. You're talking about taking your talent and increasing it.
Right. Like whatever you're given, leaving it better than it was before.
That's great.
you. That's what I think.
I love it. What about you, Alaina?
Yeah, I didn't put a whole lot of thought into this, but probably just a rewarding and fulfilling life.
That's great.
Yeah.
This quote that I think of when I think of defining a successful life it came from someone else, I don't remember who, but it really, of all the definitions of success that I've heard, it's the one that has stuck with me the most. And I would define success personally as those who know me best respect me most. I think many of us, especially if we're inclined and driven toward achievement, can lose lose touch with the fact that we want to also cultivate our home life. Instead, we chase the next shiny thing and we neglect our home life, and we're out there achieving the next thing. And many times, a life like that, you'll have a lot of people who don't know you well, but they respect you because you've accomplished all these wonderful things. And those who know you best don't respect you as much. And it's just not the life I want to chase. I want to chase the life that you guys who know me inside and out, you know my faults, you know my weaknesses, you know the good parts about me. I'm hoping that at the end of my life, that's really the respect I gain is primarily from my loved ones more than a claim for the world. And I think that lines up with a quiet life. Sure, I want to have an impact, and I am driven to be an achiever, but there is beauty in a simple life. And
I think impact, yes, there's different levels of impact, and I think that we all should be striving to have impact, but it looks different for different people.
Yeah.
For sure.
That's right. Right, and I did some brush hogging on the tractor this last week, and there's a level of satisfaction that comes with making the field, look terrific. There's all, I think of Grandpa and how we have no idea how much we're going to miss Grandpa when he's gone. In his 70s, and he can run circles of work around all of us and gets so much done. We're going to be amazed at how much he accomplishes when he's not there to get it done.
Yeah, he does so much on his own farm, and then if anyone's like, hey, I need help with this, he's the first one to show up and help someone else with their project. So he's doing his own and then helping everybody else.
Yeah.
It's interesting how all of our definitions of success are different, but yet I feel they're compatible with each other. And they kind of come together and can make a collaborative definition of what success can look like.
Absolutely.
For families.
Right, because I resonate with each of yours. I think there's facets that, I want to live that way. I want to live that way. That's true.
Yeah.
Let's talk about young adults returning to the family business. There's more of a trend in today's age that there's a rising number of young adults rejoining family businesses, sometimes after experimenting elsewhere. And sometimes family businesses require their young people to go out and work for someone else for a couple years before they come back into the family business.
Interesting.
What do you think would be the hardest part about joining a family business?
Ian and I were talking about some of these points the other day, and he brought up, working with family, you've got that dynamic of it's your family. Like if you have conflict, you got to protect those relationships. Yes. So it's sometimes harder to work through conflict or disagreements and without injuring the family relationship. Because doing business together will bring up some sort of conflict.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a good point. I feel like at a random job, I would feel comfortable just coming home and being like, oh, my boss today, like, I'm so annoyed with them. But if it was the family, it feels that there's another level that you have to have on top of that where it's like, I don't want to be speaking bad about my family, nor should you.
Yeah. Right. And like in a company, if someone's doing a lame job, they're going to get fired. But when they're in the family, like, even if you've like approached them about, hey, you need to step it up, you need to contribute more, you need to whatever, and they're just not doing it.
There's more to lose.
Do you fire them from the family? Like, you know, it's things are more fragile in a family business, I think, in those aspects.
That's true. Yeah, you need to find the ones that are really motivated for it. Because in business now, I didn't have family members that worked for me, and no kids. I mean, there were some more distant family members, but the adage really served me well that don't hire someone you can't fire. Because if you are willing to hire someone you can't fire, how much accountability structure do you really have that you can enforce? You know?
Yeah,
so,
that's a good point.
So those are tricky things with family business. I would still go to the line to say the pros of family business outweigh the cons.
Yeah, because if you think about it, when the stakes are almost higher, and I feel that in the right circumstances, those stakes can lead to people being better workers and performing better, being better bosses and being better employees.
Because in an ideal situation, you want to see the family thrive.
Right,
It's
exactly.
more than just a business that you're punching in and out of, and
Right.
you just have a job, but you're part of the family and part of the family's mission and business.
I wonder if some of the stigma is going away in this day and age, because when I came up through, there was this feeling that if you went to work for your family business, you couldn't make it on your own.
Like you're a nepotism baby just making money from your parents.
That's
type
right.
thing.
Right. Or, you don't have the smarts, you don't have the talent, you don't have the grit to go out there and find your own way. That you're just going to take the easy road. And, kids, you'd see kids hang their head like, I'm going to go work for my dad. Right? No, you didn't see many people proud of that. Whereas you look at other cultures, this is what most everyone does in other cultures, and it's a way of life, and no one even thinks about doing anything other than working in the family business. I'm hoping there is less stigma around going back to the family business, because I mean, what do we think one of the hardest parts about joining the family business? I don't know if this is the hardest part anymore, but I think it would have been a very hard part for me. I mean, I didn't enjoy farming. I wanted to do something else. I thought if your grandpa would have expected me to stay on the farm, I would have done it. I was a compliant child. I wanted great family relations. I wanted to honor my parents well. I'm glad he didn't require that, especially the kind of farming that we did growing up. But that would have been hard. Had I done that, I would have been hanging my head. I can't make it on my own.
Than.
It was less than.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talked to Trey about this last night because he worked for the post office, and then for our family business recently. And I was like, what are the benefits? And he said, I feel like it's rebellious to like stick it to the man and not have to work for the man.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I was like, there you go. I don't know if that's a common view, but that's his view.
Sure, right. Forget about the corporate culture.
Yeah.
Right? I'm going to find my own way.
Yeah.
No, that's good. Yeah, we're going to exist as a family, and we're going to make it. We don't need corporate America.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's a big part of when you look at entrepreneurs and you think, some are craftsmen. They want to really just hone their craft. Others are mountain climbers. They just, whatever they're doing, they want to be the biggest and best. Most entrepreneurs, though, are freedom fighters. They just want to make it so that no one else has to own them.
Yeah.
And I think that would define our family. It certainly was my driver in business. I'm not out to be the biggest and best, but I want to be independent.
Yeah.
I don't want to be beholden to anyone. So I think that's a great reason. What do you see yourself participating in our family's work in some form, or contributing in a different way?
I mean, I do already somewhat.
A lot.
Yeah. Do accounting. I manage the wedding venue at the family farm. And so, yeah.
For sure. You are deeply involved in the family economy. Yes.
Yeah, I feel for me, while I don't have an actual job right now, I like helping wherever I can. And in the future, I don't know.
Well, you must see that your commitment to doing this podcast with me is definitely contributing to the family economy.
And I'm happy to I enjoy helping out where I can, for sure.
Yeah.
And I feel as the business grows, hopefully there will be different places for everyone to fit in and where their strengths are.
Especially when we reopen the general store
Yeah.
next year, there's going to be all kinds of help needed there.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk about another trend. Let's talk about delayed milestones. We see people delaying marriage until late 20s, early 30s, or, hey, why get married at all, unfortunately, is the mantra today. People are delaying home ownership. They're delaying parenting. And this is, largely due to economic and cultural choices. Yeah. Do you feel the pressure to follow a certain timeline for milestones?
I don't think so. Not necessarily.
I think if anything, I wouldn't say that I felt that much pressure, but when Trey and I were getting married, I was 23 and he was 25 or 26. So we were younger than normal. And if anything, I would have felt pressured that we were doing it too early.
Yeah.
From the culture, like that
Right.
we were.
You did feel some of that.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Even though your mother and I were married at 21.
Yeah.
Interesting.
But just the culture and it was definitely not normal in, especially the people who I had gone to college with and who were kind of in their careers at the same point as me. It was very unusual that I
Yes.
was getting married already.
Right.
Yeah.
Interesting. How does delay affect the way a family plans or invests for the future?
I think it's easy to see when it comes to economics how that can affect their future planning. If they're delaying milestones like buying a house, it's most likely because they can't afford it, potentially because debt and whatnot, and that's going to greatly affect how someone can invest financially for their future.
Yeah. And I've heard different studies on like delaying having children. Like they want to have a good career, a home, whatever, kids in their 30s, but then the fertility is down.
Yeah,
So then that affects children.
Right.
for sure.
Yeah, I think the culture has it completely backward. We think we need to establish economic certainty. We need to have our career figured out. We need to have a house figured out. We have to have all these things in order before we have kids. And many times, isn't it crazy that some people put having a child before getting married as something of importance?
I have something to
Let's talk about
info
that.
on that. So I was listening to The World and Everything, and they had a segment on a NBC survey of 18 to 29-year-olds, so Gen Xers,
Okay.
where they asked them.
18 to 29-year-olds?
Yeah,
That's Gen Z?
Gen Z.
Gen Z.
I'm
Okay.
Gen
Yeah.
X. Yeah.
Well, they
And I'm
said
definitely not that
Gen
age.
X on the podcast, so
Okay.
they must have
Two letters, close
wrong
enough.
letters.
Gen
So
Z
Gen Z
going into Gen Alpha. Okay.
Okay. Anyways, 18 to 29-year-olds,
Right.
Gen Z, asked them to prioritize 12 different life goals. They gave them 12 and put them in priority. And so the goals included, not necessarily in order, I'm just going to read them, having emotional stability, able to retire early, using talents, resources to help others, owning a home, being married, having no debt, making family or community proud, being grounded spiritually, having children, having money to do things you want, fulfilling job or career, and financial independence.
That's the order?
No,
No,
those are the 12.
Oh,
Those
sorry.
are
They
the
want you to
12.
rank. Every
Got it,
individual
got it.
that gets
Yes.
the survey, they want them to rank them.
Yep. So
Got
you
it.
would rank those 12 in like
In
1,
the
2, 3,
order.
4,
Got
so
it,
on and so
got it.
forth. The results kind of lumped the surveyors into 4 categories based on like sex and political affiliation. And among those, only male Republicans ranked getting married as high as number 4
Wow.
on their thing.
That's crazy.
So getting married was 4
In
or
their
below?
top 4. Yeah.
Wow. So they ranked it 4th.
Yeah. Pretty
Okay.
much, as an average.
All right. And so women in either political camp and men who were Democrats all rated getting married lower than 4.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Female Republicans found getting married less important than financial independence and a fulfilling career.
Yeah, wow.
And also less than. I wonder where does it stack up for having enough money to travel or whatever you said? To
There
enjoy?
are some results posted. I can go through them. And Democrats of both sexes put marriage and children dead last of all 12.
Wow,
Oh,
that's
how sad.
crazy.
Oh
Yeah.
my goodness.
That is really sad.
So there's the results kind of just on one of the write-ups I looked on it. So the male Republicans have being married as 4th, where the female Democrats had it like second to last and had having children very last. And it was kind of like complete opposites. Like
Yeah.
the results were like you
Wow.
could pretty much draw lines
That's crazy.
opposite from the male Republicans to the female Democrats. And they put at the top of their list a fulfilling job and career, having money to do the things you want, emotional stability, and using your talents and resources to help others. Those were their top 4 for female.
So the first one was having enough money to do things you want to do.
Fulfilling job and career.
Okay.
Is number 1.
Yeah.
And money to do things you want is second.
Yeah, that's what I think. Right? Why would I have kids? I would suck my money away. I wouldn't be able to travel and do some of these other things. When I see that this is the mantra that so many young people have bought in, my heart breaks.
Yeah.
Because it is not, it's fulfilling for a season. It's great fun. But you're being a consumer more than an investor. You're not investing in the future of society.
Yeah.
You're not even investing in your future happiness.
Yeah.
I see the pain that you girls go through raising kids. Your mother and I went through it. It's a painful season. It is a season of give. It comes back, though. There are rewards to it. Your mother and I are living in those years right now where we are just, and seeing your grandma and grandpa, my mom and dad, every time you see them, they're gushing with, I can't believe life is so good. I can't believe we're surrounded by all our family. You know, there are seasons, and by any young person avoiding the season of having little children, and it comes with a lot of joys too, right?
Yeah.
The season is hard, but there's a lot of wonderful day-to-day special moments.
Yeah.
Why anyone would give that up? It's crazy.
Yeah.
So selfish.
This makes me think, ever since Charlie Kirk passed away, I've been watching some of his videos. And I watched one where he had a really interesting perspective. I'm not saying it's like absolutely the right way for people to do it, but he was suggesting that the culture has their milestones like inverted.
Yeah, I agree.
And he was saying, like Alaina said, a lot of people first prioritize that education, getting a job, a successful career before kids and family, and sometimes find that later having kids and family is a lot harder to do. And he was saying, he suggested for women that maybe earlier focus on having that kids and family and then focus on having that education, that successful career.
That's right.
And that's a lot more natural, he was suggesting.
I agree.
And healthier.
I feel like grow up with your children.
Yeah.
We were married at 21, you were born when we were 23, and we felt like we were growing up with you in many ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like if we take the Bible seriously, if we take it literally, and it says children are a blessing from the Lord, and we should not have children until we're married. There is a covenant. There is a covenant promise that God puts a man and woman together in a covenant relationship, and then children flow. And when we do it God's way, there's great blessing that flows. And to do it any other way is to do it our way, is to think that we have a better plan than God has. And to me, that is just the saddest thing in our culture today, that people think they understand human flourishing better than God does.
Yeah. I think a lot of the people in the study put owning a home before children. And when my husband and I were talking about these results, he was like, yeah, I feel like that's not a priority. Like, yeah, you want to have a place to live, but you don't have to own your own home. Like, sure, it's nice maybe, but it doesn't need to be a priority. Rent an apartment. I mean, his family is very open to like living multi-generationally. For both of his siblings did it for a time frame.
Well, I
think, you know, if you need to live with your parents for a time or whatever.
Yes.
You know, there's options other than owning a home before you have kids. And I feel like a lot of people
that's
put
often
precedent in I need a home before I can have kids.
Very true.
Yeah, right. I think we need to flip that on its head. We need to put the milestones differently. Yeah. Have children, give yourself to your labor, you know, discipline yourself with your expenditures so that you're saving, so that you're not spending more than you make. And then you'll eventually be able to get into a house. Now, I know today is harder than ever for young people to get into a house. And this is where people are more and more living with their parents. And they're living with their parents longer. And we're going to see this trend continue. And this is, I think, a big call for Family Dynasty. I've said to you guys, and so far, everyone's rolled their eyes. But when we think of, hey, you want to go own your own home, or do we want to build another wing on the house? Right, Graham and Alexis were living with us for a year and a half, and they just moved out in the last couple of weeks to their home. They're so excited.
they made it work for a couple years, and when they left, they're like, "Wow, we're gonna miss some of the aspects of living here." And we said the same thing. They were kind of on the eastern wing of the house. We said, "We're gonna miss you guys being in the house." I think there is going to, I think families would do well to reconsider that every nuclear family has to have their own house. In many other cultures, families live together in a space and share some. Each of them have their. I think it's ideal if each nuclear family has their own space that is their own, but then you share some common space. Yeah. I think it can be a really good way to live.
Yeah, growing up, grandma and grandpa and great grandma and great grandpa lived in the same house. Yes, they had a door that divided the separate areas, but it was all in one building.
That's true. Yes. And I think for economic reasons, we're going to have to recapture some of those realities and find ways to do it creatively that we're not left thinking we're settling, but finding a way to do it where it really aids flourishing.
Yeah, because there's the stereotype of like living in your parents' basement. Like you don't want that where you're just like a video gamer in the dark basement sleeping on the couch. Like
no parent
you have
should
to be
empower that.
Contributing to the household.
Absolutely.
On some level.
Yes.
And there have to be boundaries and whatever.
I think in general, I like what you said, how it shouldn't be settling. It should be in a way that leads to flourishing. And I think that kind of goes with the whole milestone conversation as a whole, right? Like, don't get married at 18 just to get married at 18. For sure. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
So you definitely don't want to be forcing yourself on these milestones if you're settling for something that's not leading to flourishing.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Calls for wisdom. I think this is another area that interconnected generations is so important for the young people coming through, because Kate, who's just starting to date now, right? She's got a lot of sisters in her ear, got her brother in her ear. Everybody's watching out. Everybody has an opinion.
Yeah, and she's probably confused at all the opinions at some point.
Well,
but I'm sure there's some wisdom there that she.
There is wisdom in many counselors, and she has many counselors, and she'll do just fine. All right, so as we're wrapping up this segment, what do you have something you want to share, Alaina?
I don't know. I like going through all these different points and stuff. It's kind of interesting how a lot of it points back to the older generations, like. They kind of had their milestones in order. Get married young, the grandma hobbies, they were gardening, they were doing things themselves. They were more family oriented than nowadays. So I don't know, there's maybe something we can learn from looking back at the older generations.
That's right. Yes, they were grounded. They were literally grounded. They didn't travel as much. They didn't have the upward mobility. And I think I'm glad to see a trend where people maybe are saying, I can be upwardly mobile, I can experience travel, but they're saying, there's something good in being settled and having a place and tending it.
And they lived in quiet success, and they seem to have very rewarding, fulfilling lives from what I've seen from great-grandparents and grandparents and people of those generations.
And I think we're reaping the benefits of that today. You kids could move somewhere else. You haven't decided to live here because you have to. You're choosing to live here. And there is so much goodness with interconnected generations. And this is a big part of what we want to have families grasp and gather and put more and more effort into. Put your intentionality, time, and energy into cultivating these intergenerational relationships. Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Can't wait for the next podcast. God bless you, girls.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on the Family Dynasty podcast, where legacy is built, not just inherited. If today's episode helped you lead your family with greater vision or purpose, share it with someone else who's building a legacy that lasts. And remember, you shall remember the Lord your God, for it is He who gives you the power to get wealth, that He may establish His covenant. Deuteronomy 8:18. Keep building with faith, leading with love, and living for impact. Your family is your greatest calling.